Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on November 1st, 2023. I notice after the fact that I often get the date wrong. I'm shocked. I don't have Alzheimer's yet, although I saw something interesting in an article this week. It claimed, I know a lot of Americans will not like this, it claimed that these vaccines that we're familiar with from COVID, but other vaccines as well, I think like the regular flu shot, actually prevent Alzheimer's. So that's another good reason to get them. I'm fully vaxxed, and I'm going to get the next one too, probably quite soon. So I'm advising you to get them. I have concerns about Alzheimer's. I wouldn't want to live like that. I mean, I just don't think it's worth living when you are a total mess. That's something you won't have to worry about. As a recruiter, I might have to delete this part if someone comes in and or I could say, let me see, all I have to do is say hi everybody, and I start the show again, right? And then I clip out this part. It looks like well, whatever. You know what? I can also see that I look like a ghost. Now, I got a pretty good camera. Ivan told me about it, and I went out and bought it, and it allows you to make adjustments in the imagery. And I tried to give myself some a bit more pink. I can't believe I'm this pale, but I turned it really kind of red when I gave more saturation. So I'm curious about that. If anybody has any input on that, I'd be happy to hear it. I don't like looking so ghostly. When I look in the mirror, I don't look like that. So I'm assuming it's just my setup here. What else can I tell you to start off? I've been looking at some postings, and people tend to have these days a knee-jerk reaction to the idea of culture fit. Okay, it's prejudice. It's just prejudice. It's just a way of keeping your team exactly like and you're not going to get good input from group. You'll have all kinds of groupthink. It's really going to be not only unfair, but it's also going to be bad for you business-wise. Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, what is culture fit? It could be, that you're biased, but what's wrong with spending 8 hours a day with someone who can not only do the job, they have the technical skills, but they also have the same sort of work ethic that you do, whether it's relaxed or very strict. And, you like their personality. Maybe you're a taciturn kind of person. That means you don't like talking very much, for those who don't know. So you're quiet. So you want someone else who's quiet. You don't want someone coming in who's going to be talking to you about, the news, whatever disaster's been happening, or what kind of, games went on the night before, basketball or hockey or baseball or whatever. Maybe you don't want that. And maybe you do. Okay. So I don't see anything wrong with wanting to work with people you like. Okay. I've worked with people I don't like, and it's not very pleasant. You don't want to come into work. It's a big discouragement. It's a anti-productivity strategy. Okay. So these do-gooders, where they see everything the wrong way. In fact, one of my favorite authors, I won't mention his name, but he's a professor at a big school, a famous school, and a psychology professor. He's written books. He's invited to all kinds of conferences to speak, etc. He's got lots of columns that are very readable. He is English is his second language, and he's a very good writer. I always enjoy reading him. But he had an article this week on microaggressions, okay? And, it's all the typical stuff that he just took for granted. If you ask someone where she's from, well, that's an insult. You're trying to degrade that person. No. If you say something's exotic, well, that means they're weird in a negative way. No, it could mean they're interesting, they're intriguing. Wow, isn't that you haven't encountered that kind of thing before. You never met anybody from that country or from that culture, and you'd like to know more. I mean, everything good, positive social feeling is interpreted the worst possible way. And it's said. Sorry, I'm going to say something that's been said a million times already. Sigmund Freud famously said, "Sometimes a cigar is only a cigar, because he's famous for seeing phallic symbols and stuff like that in all kinds of places. But no, even he admitted, no, you can't accuse your client or other people of always seeing symbols. Sometimes things are just what they are. So you can't always interpret a question that some bigoted person might take to use negatively. You can't assume that that's what a good-natured person is doing. It's wrong. I think it's socially corrosive. You're afraid to say something, the wrong thing to somebody. I'm afraid these days. Well, if there's it being pumped out in articles every day, this is bad. If someone says this to you, then they are actually trying to hurt you. Well, you're walking on thin ice when you actually say that. They've got it's like a minefield. I'm sensitive to it. I never would have been before. There's all kinds of things I wouldn't say now that I might have said before, or I'd be wary of it, right? There's nothing wrong with them. Really? Okay, so there's my rant. I figured I'll do those. There's nobody here yet, nobody else on the show, so I figured I'll indulge myself with these pet peeves of mine. Okay, so I talked about culture fit. I talked about, here's another interesting thing, actually. Well, a past guest on this show, I don't like quoting people's names because then they say that I quoted them wrong. And even if I prove that this is exactly what they said by showing the printed article or tweet or whatever it is, they'll say, well, you took me out of context. So, I don't give their names, but, they could come after me for that and say, oh, you used my stuff and you didn't acknowledge me. It's a minefield. I'm a victim. Okay. Do I come across like a victim? I'm afraid. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. At least that's a lot of the times with this quotation stuff. Here's what this guy said. Being a people person does not mean that you will be a great recruiter. Wow. Being a people person does not mean that you will be a great recruiter. Now, he didn't explain what being a people person means. Okay. It could mean two different things. One, that you like talking to people. Okay. You're friendly, you're outgoing. That's a people person, like an extrovert who enjoys conversations. So it could mean that, but it could also mean that you care a lot about people. Okay. I don't know. Oh, geez. I forgot to change my name. Darn it. Darn it. Okay. Welcome, David M. Marr. You there?
What's going on, Animal?
Well, I screwed up. I didn't go to my Google settings, and I've got somebody else's name under me there.
Why don't you pump the brakes and just relaunch it?
Okay, well, I just have to go out and come back in. So I'm going to do that, okay? I'm going to leave for a second, and you can talk about whatever you want. I'm going to change it and come back in, okay? See what happens.
Sounds good.
I'm back, David M. Marr. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay.
Your name says Michael.
No, not anymore. I can see it. That's how I knew. But it might be. Is this okay? This call is being recorded. I'm wondering if I guess I'm assuming I will still be able to turn it off. Hey, let me start the show again, even though I've been going for 10 minutes already. Okay. Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on November 1st, 2023. Right now, it's just me recruiting animal, and the fabulous David M. Marr. Now, David M. Marr, I have to tell you something. I know normally, since you're here, I would, and there's nobody else to talk to, I would keep asking you a bunch of questions. But you don't have to. You could still, work and never talk to me. So I don't know. Do you want me to talk to you or not? Either way is fine with me because I can talk to you. Yes, talk to you. Okay. So let me ask you the first question. I look incredibly pale on my screen, and I didn't set it up to look for Halloween like a ghost. So do I look really pale to you?
You look paste. You look like snow, or
I look
just the
like
clouds
snow.
in the background.
I don't know why, because I have a camera that is expensive, and it allows me to adjust the image, and I don't know. I can't figure it out. Okay, so I look like, well, I won't say it. Okay, I look like a ghost, and it's not because of Halloween. Okay, whereas David M. Marr, he's got this happy photo of him with an orange face. Maybe I should do the same thing. Okay, so David M. Marr, here's what I was talking about. This guy who was on our show before and is he's smart and funny. I really like him. He said, being a people person does not mean that you will be a great recruiter. Okay, do you agree with that? Yes or no?
I agree with that.
Okay, what's a people person? I was thinking it can mean two different things. One, you're an extrovert who likes to talk to people, and so you're not shy. You're happy to call people up and talk to them. You're at ease. Or it can mean you really care about people a lot. I like helping people. Or it can mean both of them. What do you think it means? What's a people person?
When I think of a people person, I think of someone that resonates and has good relationships with people. Someone that's probably more of an extrovert or naturally able to attract people, approach people, make connections, make friends.
Okay, wait a second. You seem to me like an introvert. Okay, am I wrong about that? You're kind of a quiet person, although you will engage people. No,
I probably am more of an extrovert than an introvert. There was periods of time where I would be more of an introvert, but most of the time, even if you ask my wife, for example, I'm an extrovert.
Well,
I have to work on not talking so much because
really,
yeah.
Okay, because you seem very different, for instance, from Tommy Pistachio or Richie Rosen. Those guys are blah, 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 blah. You're not bubbly. I mean, you speak in a very direct, intelligent way, but you're not all over the place. So maybe that's what I have a stereotype. So let me ask you this. What do you think of what this guy said, that you can be a people person, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a good recruiter? Why not? Because it seems to me one of the keys is someone who likes talking to people, is not afraid to talk to them. Go ahead.
I think it's a multiple things that someone needs to be an effective recruiter. Being people oriented or being able to talk to people, I definitely think is one of them. I think time management and being able to prioritize what's important in terms of tasks and things that come on your plate. Like if you're an agency recruiter, I think also being able to prospect clients and get new business is important. And then on the internal side, being able to partner with HR and different cross-functional people that you interact with.
Well, that's not people person stuff. That's politics, right?
Well, yeah, but these are skills I think that someone needs to be an effective recruiter. And then obviously, you have to have people be able to talk to people. You have to have marketing insights to be able to have good messages. You have to learn how to interview, of course. So some HR knowledge, employment law, and you have to.
Well, you're starting to bore me. You got this huge list. Mario, I think you are wrong. I think you are wrong. Mario, the question is,
yes,
if you're a people person, that doesn't mean you're going to be a great recruiter. So Dave, who actually introduced him, he said, I'm a people person. You have to shut me up. I did have to shut him up. Okay. Because he just started rambling about like 10 different things you need to be a good recruiter. I would say being a people person, liking to talk to people is number one. I mean, if you wanted to weight those 10 things, I'd say this is number one. Number two, however, is having a cold streak, being able to say no without fear. Dave, coming back to you, Would you say that's a very important skill as
Yes.
well? Sorry, Betty, you're out.
Yes.
Would you say? Yeah. Okay. And a people person might not be able to do that. Am I right about that, Dave? Would you agree?
Yeah, there are people that are uncomfortable being the bearer of bad news. Like I don't like to, just drop a shitstorm on people. I try to put it in a packaged format that's palatable. The old shit sandwich approach. Positive, negative,
I
positive.
hate that. I hate that. We got to
Hey.
welcome Tommy Pistachio here. Okay, Tom, I'm going to bring you into this conversation. Our friend Joel, he said, just if you're a people person, doesn't mean you're going to be a great recruiter. I said, and I'm arguing with David M. Marr, I said that, yeah, that's the most important thing, being a people person. Number two is being not afraid to say, no, Betty, you've lost on this one. They don't want you. Okay, but Mario is here first. Mary, do you want to get in on this? Do you have an opinion?
My question is this: are they people pleasers or people persons?
What's the difference? That's a good question.
A people pleaser is a person without a backbone, and they're proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're not proud of it. No. They don't have the power to say no. That's why I backed it up. David M. Marr is backing me up.
Go around
You have to like
they're
talking to
people
people.
pleasers.
Okay. Well, I got your opinion.
So-
Pistachio, before you fall asleep, okay? Go ahead.
So I don't know why the hell is doing that. So yes, having an outgoing personality is good. It's not the only thing, right? I
Okay,
would
hold
tend to
on.
lean
Wait,
on the
no.
side of-
Before you do what Dave did and give me a long list of things that you need, wait
people
them.
person. I don't like the term
Wait.
people person. You need to have an outgoing personality, not a people
Okay.
person. It's an outgoing
Okay.
personality.
But you have to weight them.
True.
Even I didn't give David a chance to weight what he was saying. He gave me about 10 different things. But I'm going to say people person or outgoing. I'd say that's most important. Number two is don't be a people pleaser like Mario just referred to. Have the backbone. And I had Dave back me up on that. Pistachio, what's your take on number two then?
Thick skin. Not a people. You have to have an outgoing personality and have a thick skin to do this job.
Okay.
And I'm talking about 360. Right?
Is
Yeah.
his voice hurting anybody else? Is it just me? Is it a bit sharp? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, people person, I don't like that term. So outgoing personality, thick skin, never say die type of attitude. Those are to me the most important things that you need in a recruiter.
Oh no,
especially if
What
you're
about
360.
No. What about what we said? Me and Mario, and I'm assuming Dave agreed. He did agree with me. Is that you don't mind saying no? Okay, so you're that could go with thick skin.
That's
Is
the
that
thick
with thick
skin.
skin?
Yeah.
Well, no, thick skin is you call someone up and they say, hey, you jerk, you idiot, you're bugging me. You're the fifth person who called me today. Thick skin is saying, okay, sorry to bother you. And say, oh, who cares? Who cares? Okay, that's a thick skin. Don't take it personally.
People with thick skin
You're
don't
always
apologize.
preaching that.
I wouldn't apologize.
Well, that's a pro forma. That's a pro forma. Well, you're a guy. You might tell him to go, jump in the lake. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anybody else want to talk about that? Dave, I'll just come back to Dave. He said you have to be able to deal with HR and stuff like that. I'd say that's more corporate recruiter oriented. Am I right? Or
I won't deal with HR.
Yeah, I mean, on the agency side, it's not you don't have to deal with that at all. But I'm saying, like, to be effective in-house, you have to learn how to navigate and work cross-functionally across every organization. And then, of course, you said the politics, which is a separate component of it. But I think you also have to be adaptable and flexible to do different things that you have to do, because sometimes you'll have to do full cycle. Sometimes you'll have to spend your time sourcing. Sometimes you have to phone screen a whole bunch of people.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm not letting you run on again. Okay, next topic. Okay, culture fit. Now, I was saying before, a culture fit has become a taboo topic. When it showed up, everyone was saying, hey, you don't want to hire people just on technical ability. You want to hire people that you like to work with. And you know what? I think that makes sense. You're going to spend all day with them. You want to make sure they have the same work ethic with you. And also that they like to, if you like talking about sports before you start working, you want someone else like that too. If you don't like talking about the news or want someone to be quiet, who doesn't talk very much, then you hire a person like that. That's not bigotry. That's not prejudice. Does anybody agree with me, as opposed to those people who are saying, I can quote them, it's total just bias. You're knocking out anyone who's not a mere image of yourself for no good reason. Okay. They always say, oh, it's going to be groupthink. You're not going to make money because, you won't have a lot of different viewpoints. Anybody want to talk about that? Address that issue?
I mean, I don't, not like me, but my client. My client wants a specific type of person that fits in culturally, personality-wise. They need to have drive. They need to be outgoing. They have an entrepreneurial spirit. They need to be willing to relocate. They need to be, all those things that fit into that mold. I'm going to bring that to my client because they're not going to hire someone who is, an engineer that looks at their feet, isn't willing to relocate, can't walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. I don't care how good their technical skills are. They're not going to hire them.
Okay. David M. Marr. Now, David M. Marr, before we continue, Pistachio looks just as pasty as I do. Am I right about that? I look like death warmed over, he said. But he looks like it too. Not quite, but, I'm not wearing white makeup. I'm not wearing white. Is he like, he's also white, ultra white? No comment.
I think you're more tasty.
I'm more
I got a nice
pasty.
tan, don't I?
How's that?
Oh, I like that.
Yes, Mario's got a nice hand. Yeah,
Same
there you
time.
go. Okay. Anybody else want to talk about Mario or Dave want to talk about culture fit? Is it just a matter of bias, or is it a valid, very valid means of assessing a candidate?
It's a very valid point because you can't, if you're having a group of guys who are constantly yelling at each other, it's a toxic culture. You can't put someone who's very soft, who will cry at the first instance of being yelled at or sweared at. Culture fit matters. I agree
Okay,
with
good.
Tom on this.
Good. And Dave, you want to get in on this or not? Okay. No. Oh, he's muted. I'll tell you one story. I think I told this story before. I used to be, I worked for a while as a dispatcher in a taxi company. I did a few different things in the taxi industry, which I hated, every one. And there was a woman in our office, right? And one day I came to work and the chief dispatcher was sitting outside smoking a cigarette. And he said, her name was Elaine. He said, that Elaine, if I was married to Elaine, I'd put a pipe to my head. Okay, he meant a gun. Okay, and we don't have guns here, so thankfully he wasn't serious. But yeah, you don't want to work all day with someone who's going to make you want to kill yourself. Okay, and yeah, there are people like that. I'll leave it at that. Anybody else got a topic? I just dropped my mouse. I have to take a minute off. Anybody else got a topic they want to address? No?
On the
Okay. Do you have Steve Finkel coming to your show? I know he's going to the Guys in Boxers. The other, everybody's raving about Steve Finkel lately.
he's going to Ben Mena's show, and I mentioned the roundtable. I don't know if it's a good fit for him, but he's going to be on Ben Mena's show. I got Dean DaCosta coming in Friday.
Okay.
This Friday. Yeah.
Okay. So do people persons wrong? What about this one? I found this very intriguing. This guy said, here's what you do to, establish contact in your outreach. Before you talk to a person by email or phone, send them a calendar invitation. So, you send your Calendly and there's a time in there for them. Well, it's sort of an assumptive sale. It's an assumptive sale.
I mean, that's yeah, no, that's not happening. I mean,
that's too forward for a people person like you.
It sounds good in theory, right? But again, that's the throwing the shit up against the wall type of deal, right? I'm going to send out 1,000 calendar invites to mechanical engineers, and if 20 sign up, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's just another thing like that. I will say, if I do anything before a phone call, it's send a LinkedIn connection request with or without a little note. That's the only thing I'll do before a phone call. That's it.
Why LinkedIn instead of an email? Because this other guy, a big moneymaker, not a recruiter, an enterprise salesperson, he says he never makes a call before sending a warm-up email. Now he's assuming the guy's going to read his email, but what do you think? So that's why would you send a LinkedIn connection request instead of an email?
To show that I'm part of their network, right? That I am a part of the mechanical engineering world, that I'm a headhunter in the mechanical engineering world. That's pretty much it, and if they accept it, I immediately get their cell phone or if their contact info is on there. So I can, instead of calling them at work, I can call them on their cell phone, right? So, or I'll put a little note in there if I think he's an exceptional candidate and my position is heads and shoulders than the one he has now.
Okay,
so,
every one of your positions is heads and shoulders before you even speak to them. Okay, I know that from you.
Well, it depends. So if I know that, I have to know that. Right. So
no, I think you don't know it. You assume it. You assume that your positions are always better than those of the people you're calling. And you explained it to me before. And if they say, I'm not interested, you say, why wouldn't you be interested in something that's so much better than what you've got now? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I overcome like the objections. I feel like the emails that people send tend to get lost because there's a whole bunch of other emails. They're constantly getting emails, right? How many connection requests are they getting? Like how many connection requests do you get a day?
We get too many, okay, from every part of the world, from irrelevant
I get
people.
I get a couple, right, of legitimate ones, right? So I look at it that way, right? I got a lot more recently just because of me being on Ben's show and whatnot. But in general, I get a couple a day, right? So I look at those. I do not look at any of my emails that are in that other box, right? And if I get 10 to 30, Jesus Christ, Dave. Well, yeah, but you went viral on LinkedIn.
Yeah, he's offering David M. Marr.
Posts are fantastic. Yeah,
David M. Marr says he gets 30 connection requests a day. That's because he's posting jobs. He's posting lists of jobs for recruiters who are out of work, okay, and hungry for work.
And I look at the engineers that I'm calling. They're not getting 30 a day, right? They're not viral. So when they get one or two and it pops up on their phone or on their screen, they'll click and lick at me and go, oh yeah, I'll connect with this guy. He's a headhunter. I may need him in the future or whatever.
Really?
Right? So
most people say, okay, Dave doesn't want to talk. He's sending these messages, okay? Yeah. Okay. Mario, do you send warm up emails before you call people?
Yeah, I do.
Always?
Yeah, he's a big campaign guy too, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I send emails and call him up.
Okay. And Richie Rosen, we know he sends an email at night, then he phones them in the morning, and then he sends a text, I think, later in the day, again and again. And his rule is there is no max. He told me that 5 years ago. I'll never forget it. There is no max. And I said, are you sure? He says, there is no max.
If it's somebody I want to get a hold of, there is no max. I will not. If there's someone that I need to get a hold of because he's the only person in that town or I think he's the best for the position, there is no max. You're right. I will not stop till I get that. That guy tells me to stop. I agree.
Anybody else want to say something about that? Not everybody has commented on sending the calendar invite. I guess that didn't. I find that intriguing. No?
A little.
Yeah, the calendar right? I think is creepy, but
yeah,
there's a fine line between stalking and sitting in the woods with binoculars.
I don't think sending the invite is stalking. Okay.
But I think David was saying like how I won't stop. Like I will not stop if I need to get a hold of this mechanical engineer who's in Timbuktu, right? And I feel he's the best fit for my client because he's got the exact experience and his LinkedIn profile shows to me he's got this great outgoing personality because he used to be a bartender and he played sports and yada yada yada. I will call his next door name. Dude, I swear to God to you, I had a guy call me because I called the tattoo parlor that he got his tattoos from, and they gave him my message. And he called me and says, "Hey, I got a message from you from my tattoo parlor."
How did you know the parlor? Well, was it on LinkedIn? His favorite was
Facebook. On Facebook. Okay. So this was a shredder manager. I had a position in Pennsylvania for a guy who could run a giant shredder that shreds cars and buses. And there's not a lot of these guys. And the best guy, I found him, but we couldn't get a hold of him. So I left a message at his tattoo parlor. He had full sleeves, and everything. he's like, I've never had this happen to me. The tattoo parlor said, call this guy, and I'm calling you back. And we placed him like a $27,000 fee.
You know, that's a good story. There's a few stories about people using in creative ways to contact people. There's the famous, you guys don't know it, the Flaming Hot Cheetos subject line. Okay, that's one of them. This one with the tattoo parlor, I will remember it as well. David M. Marr said he sends Calendly for the people. He doesn't book them a time in advance. He leaves it for them to book the time. But the question is, I'll call you Harpo Marx because you don't talk. The question is, will you send somebody you've never spoken to the Calendly on the first contact when you send an email or something like that? Will you send the Calendly with it to say, book with me?
Yeah, basically it's my call to action in my initial outreach.
So what is your call to action? What does it say in writing?
Only link. Hey, if you're interested in this role, schedule it. Here's a link to my calendar. Let's schedule a time to chat further.
Okay, so that's not an assumptive close. It's here. If you want to talk to me, let's get together. And do you talk to people on the phone or exclusively on video?
Phone usually.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think phone's better. Everybody I think is intelligent uses phone.
I don't think you have to be on video for everything. It's just like you don't. There's no like all or nothing. It's you use what tools make the most sense given what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really what it is. It's who you're reaching out to and what tool makes the most sense. So I agree with that.
Okay. You know what? Someone said something about, oh, well, you know what, Tom, before I forget, you're promoting a new tool. You're not promoting it, but you're saying it's good on AppSumo, Canbox, 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 $49 US, which is probably about 75 Canadian. What is it and why should we buy it? Because I bought the last thing he told me to. Haven't used it yet.
So it's the reason I bought it was strictly because it allows you to send automated LinkedIn connection requests. And I feel like that's a good add-on. Like, remember I said I like to send connection requests sometimes. Now, if I'm doing a search and I have 40 candidates in my pipeline, I can really quickly shove them into Canbox, hit send connection request with a little email, with a little like first name. Hey, this is Tom Alascio. I'm a headhunter. Got an opportunity in your backyard. Give me a call or something like that, right? A quick, just boom, and it does it for me. I don't have to go and hit connect and connect and connect. I can just send it out on Canbox. There's a lot of services out there that provide that, but they're all monthly, 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks a month. This is $49 one time. You can send 100 a day.
Okay,
that's why.
But it also
Does
gives
it bypass the LinkedIn connection request limit?
Pardon me?
Does it bypass the limit on the connection?
I don't
request?
know, because if you have Navigator, it says if you have Navigator, you can send 100 a day. I think is what it said.
What?
Yeah, but Duck Soup is what? $40 a month. This is $49 one time. That was the reason why, because I don't use it enough to pay $49 a month for it, but I'll use it if I pay one time for $49. Plus, it comes with when you connect it to LinkedIn, you can look at your mailbox.
Tom, I'm sorry. Tom, there's a limit. You can send only 100 invites weekly, even if you have Sales Navigator. So
I've sent 400 in a week with Jobin and never had a problem. Here's what, I don't know how they do it, but I will tell you this. If you're ever going to send a lot of automated invites, do not touch LinkedIn while it's running, right? Because they work at human speed. So I've scraped 600 people in a day off of using SalesQL. I've sent 300 invites in a day using Jobin, because if you go to Jobin.cloud, they have if you pay their top tier, they bypass all of LinkedIn's limits. I don't know how they do it, but they do.
Okay.
So is Canbox 100 a week or 100 a month or 100 a day?
Yeah, 100 a week.
I can't. Is it 100 a week?
Yeah.
And they don't limit it to you. They tell you whoever popped up said you can only send X or it said be cognizant of the limits LinkedIn has. Sending more than 100 a day or 100 a week or whatever it was can get you in trouble.
Okay, but I also want to ask you, it's got email lookups, 2,000 email lookups. So is that the limit? Is that the limit?
It gives you you can get, if you buy two tokens, you can stack codes and get more, but they weren't that good, the email lookups. I used them just to try them out, to compare them, and they're okay. I mean, again, that's what I bought it strictly for.
Okay,
the
so
LinkedIn
this
connection
you,
request.
you like Sales QL for email lookups, not this. This will not replace.
It's okay.
any of-
It's okay. I have
What's okay? 50% of them are good or what?
maybe.
Okay.
It doesn't tell you if they're verified or not, where Sales QL does. I also use Artemis. I have 7,000 lookups with them. That was an AppSumo thing. It tells you if they're verified, and theirs is, I would say theirs is almost as good as Sales QL, but they don't give you any phone numbers.
Okay. You're also pushing something called MetaView. Okay. It sounds like a
Oh,
competitor.
fucking,
Go
that
ahead.
is awesome. I just used it on 2 video interviews, and what it does is it listens to your phone call or listens to your video interview, and then it transcribes it into notes about the interviews and pulls out the important parts of the interview. Yeah, I was very impressed with that. Very impressed with that.
So it's a competitor then to our friend Honeit, which used to be a sponsor of this show, Honeit.com.
Yeah, that one shows like video clips and stuff. The Honeit one does, right?
Yeah.
This one doesn't do that. All this does is it lists either call or do a video like we're doing now. You do the interview, it listens to the entire interview, and then it pulls the important information into a bullet point summary. And then there's also the full transcript is transcribed on the right-hand side.
Okay,
Right,
I understand.
so-
If you're on a Zoom or a Google or a Microsoft Teams, I understand how it can record that stuff. But if you're on your regular phone, how does it record that stuff?
You
How does it?
dial their number first,
Okay,
415 something, and then dial the candidate's number and hit pound. Then what it does is calls the candidate for you, and it comes up as your caller ID, and then it's in the background listening to the phone call, records the entire phone call, transcribes it, and then puts the notes together.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's all on the phone, because Honeit, you always have to go into their website, right? So you have your phone. It doesn't have to be video, but you can just have an audio conversation. But it's through the website, whereas this is on your regular phone. That's what you're saying, right?
The same with the Teams interview. What you do is for Teams or Google Meet or whatever, when I send the invite out, I send an email to recruiting@animal.com because you're going to be the guy I'm interviewing. I'm already in there, and then I put their email metaverse or something. So they're considered a part of the interview. So when we're doing this, you'll see 3 windows. You'll see me, we'll see you, and then a little small window that says metaverse interview something or another.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to go to their website. You just have to make sure that you include them as a person in the interview.
I'm like Dave, but I mime it. How much?
How much is what?
How much does it cost? The MetaView.
Oh, it's free for right now. You get 10 interviews free a month, and let me see if I can. $19.99 a month is 300 interviews,
Okay.
and $39 a month is unlimited interviews.
Okay, so those are reasonable rates. Does anybody else
Oh,
find it odd that this
fantastic.
thing can analyze? It doesn't just give you a transcription, according to what he said. It actually analyzes your conversation and picks out the important parts. Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay, so
Machine learning
when I
models
first-
do it.
Go ahead.
when
Let's
I
Dave.
first-
Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
Machine learning models is what makes it possible.
Okay. Well, go ahead now, Talashio, Tommy.
So I did one with my son to test it, and in the thing I said, by the way, I Googled your name and I heard you're having an affair with David Beckham. He laughed and said yes. It did not include that in the notes. So it was really wild how it did. I'm looking at the one we just did right now, and I'm looking at all the interview stuff. Now, it went through and like, what's the process you go through to find candidates? It's one of the questions I asked. I was interviewing a sourcer for my company, and it shows what he said. How do you feel about calling 50 candidates a day? Can you tell me about a time you were working on a search that was very difficult and the candidate pool was small? How did you expand on the candidate pool to fill the candidates? He describes that. It's in the notes. Did you like recruiting side of things when you worked at Team AI? Was Team AI a headhunting firm? It explains that. is business development not your strong suit? He explains that, right? Like, so and then you can decide, you can go over to the transcript. I can look at the transcript right now and I can see, is there anything I want to pull out of that transcript and make a note? And then they have an AI assistant where you could ask it stuff.
And
in
was
there.
the boss of that company on your show? Am I right about that? Did you interview him? Or he had a webinar. He had a webinar recently.
He had a webinar. That's how I discovered. I didn't go in the webinar, but I had the guy from Higher Harmony on. Is who we had on.
Okay. Mario, any input on that? Are you listening? Do you have
Nothing.
a comment?
No,
Okay.
John, what's the name of the software?
MetaView.
No,
META
the
MetaView.
other one. No, the other one you spoke about, the LinkedIn.
Higher Harmony. Higher Harmony.
No, not
Can-
Higher Harmony. The
can-
other one.
Canbox.
How do you spell it?
KANBOX.
KANBOX.
BOX. Okay.
KAN.
Okay.
What about Tommy?
Okay.
Tommy, a girl replied to you. She said she likes Scrupp. SCRUPP. She also got it on AppSumo. Are you familiar with that? No?
No, Scrupp.
Okay. Yeah, Scrupp. Okay.
Mm-mm. I don't know what that is.
Okay. It's I'll tell you, it charges you for verified emails only. So if it gives you an email, it's going to charge you per email address, but only if it's verified. That's the interesting angle on it. Scrupp. Anybody else know it? Anybody else?
It's for LinkedIn Navigator only. Finds personal emails and verified emails, extract and enrich leads, enrich CVS file, clean data, find emails. I mean,
okay, but so
500
her
email
thing is,
credits renewed each month.
yeah, if 50% of the emails that these tools are giving you are no good, and they've got a limit of 2,000 or something, you're blowing your load there for nothing. But if this only charges you for the ones that are verified good, that's an interesting.
This is
an interesting
5,000
feature.
email credits a month and 10,000 scraping credits for $39 one-time purchase. So, I mean,
Is it still there on AppSumo? Is it still there on AppSumo?
yeah, I'm on it right now.
Sounds
yeah,
like a
it's
good deal.
$39.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if I need more leads. Like I don't ever go through what I have now.
Okay, yeah, but you've got all kinds of tools. Not all of us are
Yeah.
geniuses like you, investors. Okay, what about this? This woman said
They're only business emails.
Okay.
It says these are business emails, emails shared by users on LinkedIn only. So they do not pull emails from any of that. They're only pulling emails off of Sales Navigator if that person has their email in Sales Navigator and they're only giving you business
okay,
emails.
if someone doesn't list their email and their contact info, it's not going to get it for you. Is that right?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if
because I remember SellHack. Does anyone else? I find they were one of the first to SellHack, and they went into LinkedIn and they found the email that wasn't listed under their contact info. They got closed down eventually, but they got the secret email. Okay, that was something. That was really something.
So here's the first review from 3 days ago. Should get negative taco. Using Chrome extension with LinkedIn has not been safe for years. So I was suspicious, but I tested the tool anyway to extract 4,000 contacts over the course of 2 days from various different searches. Promptly received a warning from LinkedIn that I must be using an automated tool, another useless tool.
Okay, there you go. Okay, what about this? It says this woman, a real recruiter, she's a regular on my Facebook group. She said, my best hires have been athletes. They're so easy to train and they never give up. She said that in response to someone who said he likes to hire people, or the sign of a good recruiter. They've been an athlete in college and has a good-looking spouse. We talked about that person, I think, before, and she commented now and said she agrees. She didn't say anything about the spouse, but she said athletes. If you see athletics in the person's resume, that's a really good sign. Does anybody else concur? I don't know. Anybody else? No? Okay, quiet. Crickets.
I do. Like, I truly like people who have military backgrounds or sports backgrounds. I will agree with that. That I look for that. If I had to choose between two people and I could only call one of them, and they both have equal experience in equal degrees, and one played sports and one didn't. I'm calling the sports guy first.
Will you use that to sell the candidate to a client? Say, look, Betty, this candidate, Jill, she's played field hockey. I think that's a really good sign there. Will you tell her that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my
No,
clients
that's
like
a no. You're
Yes.
fumbling.
No.
You know.
No, I just said my clients like that. So depending on the client, yes. But if I don't think if the client cares about it, I won't sell it.
Okay, well, how do you know? You don't know in advance. This is your own thing. Okay.
What are you talking
curling
about? Of course, I would know in advance because I asked those type of questions.
Well, what question? Do you like people who have athletic backgrounds? Do you actually ask that question? I doubt it.
Like,
Okay.
Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your team. Do you guys, do anything? Do you have guys who play sports? Do you guys who like barbecue? Do you guys who play chess? Tell me a little bit about the background of your team and the background of the type of people that you hire. Do you put any weight in military? Do you put any weight in sporting events? Do you put any weight in extracurricular activities? Those are legitimate questions when I
Really? Well, I just never consider hobbies and that stuff is something I never ever consider. Although I have a friend who's a recruiter, and he said if someone's an Eagle Scout, that's a really good sign. Okay.
That's a great sign. Yeah, it takes a lot of determination and discipline to get that. They have to get it before they graduate high school. And it's very
really?
difficult.
Oh, okay. Now, David M. Marr sent a little note here. He wants to argue with me. It's not field hockey that Jill is playing. It's curling. My friend's got a son, and he's been married a few years to this nice young woman, and she's a curling champion. So, yes, David M. Marr, it's possible. Okay.
Well, I mean, come on, curling. It's women. They sweep for a living anyway. It's great for them.
We're
Sorry,
in
sorry,
trouble.
I couldn't
We're in
resist.
trouble. Gee
I couldn't resist.
Uh-oh. David M. Marr was going to say something before Tommy did about whether he likes to okay.
The funniest
Okay.
sport to watch.
David M. Marr, were you going to say something about whether you consider that a really good sign to see that someone's got an athletic background at school?
Yeah, I think because it shows that they can stay committed and devoted to something, and that they're willing to put in the work, and that they're going to basically be able to overcome whatever obstacles and challenges they run into, as opposed to people that maybe didn't play sports, that, aren't used to doesn't have the discipline to do that.
They're a team player. They know how to work well with others. They have to, teams are diverse groups of people usually, so they have to understand how to do that. Like David said, my daughter was a Division I athlete. That's a lot of pressure because Division I is, especially football and basketball, they're doing more sports than they actually are doing academics. So if they graduate with a good GPA and they were a Division I athlete, that tells me that they're smart and dedicated and disciplined.
Okay. And what about our man from the cricket world? Any opinion there?
Man, not a cricket fan.
Oh, I know you said that before, but cricket is your sport over there, okay?
No,
it's not baseball.
Mine is basketball, for God's sakes.
Really? They have basketball
Yeah.
over there?
I play basketball.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
Yeah, and Mario Kart too. Yeah, obviously. I drive my car like a cart. So I agree with you on that point, okay?
That's hilarious that your name actually spells out to the title.
Yeah, seriously. It's easy. I mean,
Oh God, I
next
never
time I
realized
come with steering you.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Mario Kart. I never noticed that. That's hilarious.
You
Yeah,
should
David
dress-
Amar is the only guy who can come up with it. The big
You
D.
should dress up as Mario and
For
appear on one of these
Halloween. I know. I should have done that. I'm about the
What kind
size
of car do you
Mario.
have,
It's too
Mario?
tall.
What kind of car do you have?
Right now, I drive an old Nissan Pulsar. A damn 20-year-old car.
Oh, Pulsar. Wow.
Yeah, because here cars are banned as of now, so no one is buying a car. You won't believe it. A Civic here cost me $40K US.
I'm gonna start shipping cars to India.
Yeah, okay.
Not India, Sri Lanka. Not India, right?
Sri Lanka.
So-
Sorry, I'm sorry, Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I've moved out of here, right? I'm no more in India. So India, you can import any cars. So India, I was driving a Mahindra there. So it's all cool.
Okay.
And
Does
a Jeep.
does anyone here actually study these different models of negotiation? Like I actually saw some that I was not aware of. There's one called the Toumlin technique, Toumlin. There's 7 Elements. I never heard of it before. And the Harvard yes, getting to yes model. I read that book. I found it useless for me. I'm not a good negotiator, but I haven't studied these other techniques. Does anyone study negotiation? No.
I should.
What?
I should.
So I like Sandler's, the Sandler selling. If that's negotiations, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really dug deep into it, but the basics of the Sandler selling system, I tend to like.
What is it you like? Would you have anything specific you can pull out of it?
Yeah, the specifically is how expensive are you? Well, if you're looking for a low bidder, I'm the wrong guy, right? If when someone starts hemming and hawing, like, dude, you got the wrong company. If you're concerned about price, then I give you 5 other recruiters to work with. That's the basics of the Sandler selling. Is that
really? Well, that's not much, is
Yeah.
it? Just that's qualifying by price and then saying happily.
Well, no,
I'm
I mean,
not
there's
sure.
more to it. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't even want to go into it deep right now, but that's the basics of Sandler selling. Is that you're selling the service, you're selling the quality, and you're getting away from the price, right? So, because in our industry, what's your fee? Oh, does that matter? If I bring you a high quality candidate, why would you care what my fee is? If you're only concerned about the fee and not concerned about the quality of the candidate, I'm the wrong recruiter for you. If you can't pay my $3,000 engagement fee, I'm the wrong recruiter for you. I'll give you a number of 3 other recruiters who are cheaper than me. You can go use them.
And does that ever turn them around? They say, well, you know what? Maybe he's actually good. He's so nonchalant about doing business with me.
Yeah, I have had companies walk away and call me back 4 days later and send me a check when I do that. When I say no, I don't work contingency. I give you a bunch of other recruiters who work contingency. This is not, in this current unemployment market, is not something I'm willing to do. I understand you're upset, but that's just where we are right now. Here, if anything changes, give me a call. Thank you very much. Click. That's,
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not taking on shitty searches and you're going to give to 3 other recruiters. You're either going to pay me $3,000 or I'm not going to pick up the phone.
Okay. Here's I think maybe the closer. It's something, people might tell me this is immature for me to bring this up. I got it from the New York Times. Okay. I got it from the New York Times. They're a little higher class than me. So it's not just me being an immature little kid. Okay. This company, this woman is working with a guy at a company. Okay. And she said he smells so bad that she is retching. She moved to another office out of their group office because she can't stand to be near him. And when he comes to her office and stands there near her desk, she cannot take it. Okay. What if we don't really interview people in person anymore? Because you could be placing someone anywhere in the country, for instance, or anywhere in the world even. What if you actually send someone out for a meeting and the client calls back and said, this guy stinks. He actually smells. I would be embarrassed if that happened to me. Does anybody else have how they would respond?
I would say
How am I supposed to know that? I don't have
deodorant.
smell-o-vision. Yeah, I don't have smell-o-vision. How am I supposed to know that? Right? Like, dude.
Would you actually say that? I don't have smell-o-vision.
I don't smell it. How am I supposed to smell the guy? It's just like, what do you want me to do?
They might say, "Hey, look, it's your job to meet the person and screen them like in person."
No, they know it's not. They know it's not the job. They know
how is that
I don't
possible?
meet anybody.
Mario. No, Mario.
How is that possible? Tell me.
I looked at I posted an old video from the show, and there was a little debate about your name, whether it's Mario or Mario. Okay, what is it?
I go by Mario.
Okay.
Mario.
Well,
Mario Kart. You go Mario Kart or Mario Kart?
okay. Well, I call you Mario, and I might continue to do so, but at least I know now. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody
My
else?
nose are different.
You can
So
call
does-
me a bastard all you want, as long as you
Okay.
just pay
What
my
about
invoices,
what
I'm
about
fine
if
with
someone
it.
calls you? What if someone calls you back and say, Mario, this guy is cleared, but he wasn't cleared for taking showers. Okay. What
I'll
or
tell them,
whatever.
I'll handle it. Don't worry. Take the phone. Listen, you better start taking showers. And I'm sending you a
Yeah.
box of deodorant. Simple.
Like, if
It's
they
a guy.
tell me they
I
like the
can say it
guy,
to
I'm
the
going to
face.
call the guy and go,
Don't give a
dude,
shit.
you did really well until they smelled you. What the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? Do you shower? Like I'm going to be blunt with the guy. Like, what the hell's going on, bro? They said your interview was fantastic, you had great education, you could do the job, but they couldn't stand how you smell. Did you not shower on the way there? Do you have an odor problem? What's the deal?
Okay.
I'm
Would a
going to
people-
say that.
Would a people person say that, or is this the thick-skinned guy saying that?
I think that the thick skin,
Okay.
the thick skin.
David M. Marr, you gave us a list of qualities. What would you do? Same thing?
Animal.
Yeah.
See, listen, it's if this spelling thing is in the way of him getting a job,
Yeah.
it's far better for us to address it and tell it to his face, and
Yeah,
he gets the
I don't
job.
think you can change someone's habits so easily. Okay,
At least if they know, some people are not aware because people are too polite.
Yeah,
No one's
yeah,
cool.
it could be that he's got body odor that he doesn't realize it, right? Like
Yeah.
his deodorant, he's using deodorant instead of antiperspirant, right? Or he's not using cologne or whatever it is, right? And you just have to tell him, like, hey, dude, unfortunately, you're going to be working in an office environment and you smell. So I don't know what you're doing in your personal hygiene, but you might want to look at that. And if he doesn't want to hear that, oh well, like there's not a lot I can do, but I'm at least going to tell him.
Okay. I personally don't think you could trust somebody to change. Now, David M. Marr raises another issue. Since he said in these notes, he said it could be a cultural issue. So then you've got the problem. If you tell someone these days, there was a big scandal here about it a while ago. If you tell someone, if they're bringing lunch, to the office and they put it in the microwave,
Shit, if it's fish, it's horrible.
and it smells, okay, they have come from another culture. If
Yeah.
you say, look, don't bring that anymore, they can go to the Human Rights Commission and they can fine you a lot of money for racism or something like that. So here's David M. Marr saying it might be a cultural issue. David M. Marr, that's even worse if you say, look,
What I'm saying is there's in different parts of the world, there's different types of behavior that's appropriate. When I used to do staffing, there was 2 instances we had with consultants where one of them was body odor or BO. And another one, there was a person that was cleaning their themselves in the sink in the bathroom. And
Holy shit!
sleeping in their car.
no. Like they're yeah. Anyway, so we had to have some conversations with folks. The person that cleaned themselves in the bathroom ended up getting let go though. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a foreign thing to me because I don't do staffing, right? So I can't believe that any of the people that I'm placing who are professionals that were in college that are working in environments for years are going to smell bad, right?
Well,
Like
we assume that, but
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
sometimes it happens. This was a professional person, right?
Now, halitosis might be something that you might run into. We had an employee who had very bad breath because he had a disease, a halitosis. It wasn't that he didn't brush his teeth. It was just he had. So you had to remind, when he had a mints, like, hey, dude, it's getting bad.
Well, that can
And if you
also
didn't
be
wanna hear
body
that,
odor.
oh, well.
I read in the Times there was a response. It can be you can have a disease. What if you tell someone you got bad odor, they won't hire you? And he says, well, I've got a condition. Is it still the same story? Oh, I'm sorry, you're out. Okay, you can't expect.
Well, I mean,
people to put
if
up
they
with
actually have a real medical condition, then it's something that you could look at and say, okay, we're going to let him work from home, or he's going to have his own office, right? Or he's going to have a remote location. Because even if you have a medical condition, let's say your medical condition is something different, it can't affect the rest of the team. I don't care what it is. You can't discriminate against the guy, but you also can't allow the medical condition to affect the entire team. So it's going to a balance that HR would have to figure out.
I hope we don't get in trouble for this one. Usually I stay away from these, but I found it intriguing. The wonderful David
I
M.
found that
Marr.
intriguing too.
Okay, David M. Marr. Now, Harpo Marx is how I think of him. He sends us these little notes. So there's some other better name than that. Mario. Who am I going to call Mario? Affectionately. Mario over there with his expensive car. On the other side, the basketball playing Mario.
Make fun of me.
Okay.
One day I'll drive a Ferrari. You wait.
I'm not making
I'm
fun.
targeting that.
Basketball's a great sport to play.
No, I'm talking about the car.
Okay. And Palermo Rhodes, Tom Alascio. Anybody got some parting words? Or I have to thank everybody for the conversation. It was a lot of fun. Right?
It
use the
was.
right
As
tool
always,
for the
thank you.
right job.
See everybody later. Pardon me, David M. Marr.
Use the right tool for the right job.
Very good. Thank you.
Right. Gotta appreciate that, David M. Marr.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay.